Right back in here, SportsGrid, college football today. Hour number 2, top of the hour, power. Energy is high as usual. Donnie Rightside and Joe Lisi here. The biggest games, the biggest bets that you need to know. So much fun already, Joe. I feel like we got a lot of information now.
Yeah. Good games, not great, but again, it's college football. You can bet on them, nothing better.
Bet it, win it. By the way, and I always like to say this, and it's true. Like, you can have the worst game in the world. You cash your ticket, it's like a Picasso. Like, that game was the best game I ever watched in my life.
Are you kidding?
Exactly.
Especially when you're hitting parlays. The fact that we could bet on props, we could bet on all these matchups, and college football is great. You got the 12 to 3:30 window, you got the 4:30 window, the 6 to 7, and then the late night action. Which, by the way, I love a game at late night.
Late night action. We don't even have to wait till late night action, Joe. 12 o'clock noon. Guess what that is? That's Texas Tech, and that's Utah. Live from Utah. Opened up as a 4.5-point favorite. Now it's down to 3.5 in a total, Joe, dropping from 60.5 the opening number to 57.5. But hour number 1, we went over the game itself. We're going to hit that now, but also from a prop perspective. So just let the people know again. Utah, Texas Tech, side, total, what's the deal?
Yeah, I lean to the under, and I'm taking Tech. Again, I don't feel as confident on the total being so high, but I do feel confident that Tech has revamped their defense enough to that they could pull this game out as a 3.5, 4-point underdog. So I believe in Baron Morton. I think he'll attack this defense over the top. We'll look at all the secondary wide receivers for Tech. Eaton is a nice choice, the big tight end. But I think Baron Morton could throw a couple touchdowns in this offense. Let's not forget, last year, Taj Brooks now with Cincinnati. They were so dependent on Taj Brooks. When Taj Brooks was not in that lineup, they couldn't score points consistently. Now they're more balanced, 387 through the air, 250 or 215 on the ground. I like that type of balance, and it relies on the passing attack. Give me Morton in this offense. I think they win the game outright.
Let's get a look at the quarterback position here, because we got one guy in Devin Dampier is looking to make a run here at winning a possible Heisman Trophy award, and that goes big. When you win top 20 games and you perform, you're going to move up that list. Dampier's passing prop, Joe, 219.5. Baron Morton here, 261.5. The touchdown props, both identical at 1.5, but the juice is quite frankly different. Dampier is a minus 114 price to throw 2 touchdowns. You look at Morton, minus 180 to go over 1.5 touchdowns. If I gave you one quarterback here today, Joe, that you wanted to play for a prop, who would it be?
It would be Morton, but again, I would take Morton yards. I don't like the 1.5 touchdowns at almost, minus 200. I would take a shot on 3 more than 2, right? Even though the 2 seems like the logical bet. 260 is light. It's 125 yards less than their season average, Donnie. And I understand that Texas Tech and the body of work, they haven't played anybody. But still, when you're throwing the football that many times, and even if you think Texas Tech is losing, they're going to have to put up points. They're going to have to score, and Morton could blow through this total. So 260 to me is light. Dampier, I would go on the ground. If Utah's going to win, they're going to play bully ball. I don't think it's going to be a finesse-style game. So I would take Dampier anytime touchdown or rushing yards as opposed to his passing total, which is only 219 in this matchup.
I always like the quarterbacks getting into the end zone. We'll get to some of those touchdown props, Joe, in just a few moments. But the rushing yards, like we talk so much about these 2 quarterbacks and slinging it all over the lot, but there's going to be after somebody who's going to have to win on the ground to extend those drives. Dampier, as you pointed out, Joe, for a quarterback in college, 69.5, which means, you take sack yardage out of that as well. He's expected to have a big day. Dickey, Williams, Parker, and Rodgers, anywhere from the running back position, Joe, you want to go today.
Well, if you're going Utah, Parker and Rodgers are 2 ways to go. Dickey filling in for Adam Hill on Texas Tech is another. He's a speedster. He's more of a scat back type of guy. He can catch the football out of the backfield as well. But again, he's only averaged 4.4 yards per carry, Dickey. So I would lean to the Utah running backs, Parker and Rodgers, in this matchup.
How about wide receivers? And again, in a game we're expecting some pretty good pass yardage. You don't have a guy that's, he's 110.5 yards here. You got Aiken at 46.5, 38.5 here for Terrence Carter. A couple guys there for Utah. Bentley, 30.5 yards. And take a look at Ryan Davis at 54.5. Any wide receivers that you're looking to take a look at in this matchup?
Aiken's the guy.
Let's go, Aiken.
Again, he's a big body.
Number 3, huh?
What?
Number 3?
Yeah, 3.
Throw a 1 on that. Better number.
Well, there you go. He's got great hands, and he can be utilized in red zone opportunities.
Come on. Get that right?
Donnie.
No?
Yeah, I like the yards, though. These Big 12 teams can throw it over the top. I mean, you're going to get chunk plays.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Utah is going to look to run the football, sustain drives. Texas Tech is going to say, we want a high up-tempo type of game. Let's push tempo. I still think the game trends to the under, but that doesn't mean Texas Tech can't get theirs. So I like Aiken in this matchup.
Let's go to touchdown scoring markets here, something we always love, too. And I'm just in pro football, I'm like, quarterback to score a touchdown, maybe gets on the quarterback sneak, Jalen Hurts, of course. College football, these guys are mobile, man. They see a glimpse of an angle that they can get to inside the 10-yard line. They're running it. Devin Dampier today, Joe, up to now, minus 165 in the touchdown market. Rodgers, plus 100. Williams, plus 100. The only guy that you're paying juice for is Dampier. And I got to tell you, he's getting in today, Joe. He's getting in.
Well, he's getting in, but I'm not paying that price. How about?
Hey, why not? If he gets in, why wouldn't you pay the price? That doesn't make any sense.
No, because
you just told me he's getting in the end zone. You're not paying the price. That's
I would put it in a parlay. I'm not gonna pay minus 155.
Look at that bet card right there. That's all you need. That's it. That's all you need from this game.
There you go. It's great.
And I got CLV already.
But
I won.
You're taking Dampier. You're taking, but I think the other team's going to win. So what about Morton on the ground today?
Does he run, though, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, inside the red zone, he's mobile enough.
Up at the goal line and ran to the 40. Who wins that one?
Well, Dampier probably
There you go.
wins.
That's why you take him to get in the end
bigger,
zone,
he's faster,
Run
he's
away
stronger.
from people.
But Morton could score. I mean, Morton, again, can take a game over. And he's had so many questions that he's had to answer about whether he could be the leader of this team. Yeah. In this type of game on the road, anytime touchdown has value.
How about some game specials markets, Joe?
What do you got?
You know I love this type of bet.
What do you have for
Each team to score rushing and receiving in each half, 35-1, Joe. Each half. Can we do it? Put it this way. We're going to be live for the second half. We're going to be live in this bet. Okay.
But here's the thing. I mean, again, if you're asking me, could Tech do that? Yes. Could Utah? If Utah struggles, and again, they're more balanced. They're not as explosive as Texas Tech. It'll be up to Texas Tech to dictate whether you get that bet or not. Again, if Utah gets the ball first, takes 8 minutes off the clock.
Bets here. I'm seeing
easy bets.
You want me to rip you off some easy bets?
Give me
Let's go.
easy
Come on,
bets.
easy bets.
Yeah.
Morton and Dampier to each have 10 passing yards in each quarter, minus 136. Come on now.
That's a given.
Come on.
Yeah, it's a given.
That's one in the back.
All right, there you
go.
go.
To the next one. Morton to record 100 passing yards in each half, though. Can he do that? Sling it around?
100 in
each half.
Yeah, he could do it. Absolutely. He averages 387.
It's 2-0 right there.
That's 2-0.
You're 2-0. Now let's go to the next one. Devin Dampier to record 25 rushing yards in each half, plus 140. What? That's like, he needs one drive, Joe.
Donnie,
come on.
the problem is...
Get on board.
The problem is, and I'll give you an instance. I had Kyron Drones 2 weeks ago when they lost by Vanderbilt. The kid had 69 rushing yards in the fourth quarter with 6 minutes left.
And he just was careless. Careless.
He ended with 37 because sacks count. So, again, yes, Dampier could blow through the number. Unless he has a Taylor Green type of performance where the kid's number was 37.5 and he had 112 by game time, it's no gimme, especially when sacks count as rushing total. Can Dampier do that? Absolutely. But if they're trailing and the kid gets sacks, you're losing the bet.
Let's pop up that bet card for Joe Lisi here on the screen so that people get a look at it there. Go with it line by line. Like, why are the people investing in here, and why are we getting this plus money? What's happening?
Why? Because, again, I have to see exactly. I like Aiken as an anytime touchdown.
Love it.
I like Brennan Morton with the plus passing yards.
Yeah, $3 bills.
3 bills.
Right.
That's great value. Again, I would take Morton on 3 touchdowns as opposed to the 2 because, again, if he's hot and he's getting you 2, he's going to get you 3.
I like it. I like where you're going here. By the way, I like to ask you this question in a lot of games. What shocks you today in this game?
In this
game? Give me something. Like, what shocks you?
If Utah gets blown out.
Wow. In the bus.
Like if Texas Tech wins by 13 or more, that would be shocking considering Kyle Whittingham, again, being that this team was under 500 last year and struggled, I would be shocked.
How about Dampier? 2 touchdowns in the air, 2 touchdowns on the ground, 75-plus yards. He might be the leader in the clubhouse to win the Heisman. How about that, people?
No.
It's great to be a Miami Hurricane. Up next.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Donnie, the season is 6 months, 5 if you check out in September. You're going to have a bad month. The Yankees had a horrible month. That is true. But beyond that, their regular season looks okay. They're going to win their 90 games or maybe a little bit more and get to the postseason. What is everybody freaking out about?
Everybody freaks out. It's a Yankee tax and a Yankee fan tax as well, where every single season you enter into the equation going like, it's championship or bust.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Remember these names: AZ Fudd, Olivia Miles, Lauren Betts. Depending on who wins that lottery, that's going to depend on who goes one. If Washington wins, it's Fudd. She's from the area. If Dallas wins, they're going to bring Fudd to play with, obviously, Paige. If Minnesota wins, I think they go Miles with the point. If Seattle wins, they go with Miles, and the same thing with Chicago.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
I was looking at it through my phone at first. I'm like, why is there such a delay? And why are we getting pitch hitters right away? Oh, the pitcher got thrown out for some reason. Maybe he hurt himself. But no, turning out and seeing a brawl was absolutely hilarious to let that one play out. Just the way it is sometimes in baseball. We don't get a lot of good fights and a lot of good brawls and anger, specifically from two teams that aren't going to the playoffs. So good on them for showing that moxie last time. But it's good to see a little bit of a brawl and a little bit of that passion here.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
SportsGrid, college football today. You don't need to be in Miami, Joe.
No.
You don't need to be on campus running a pregame show when you have all the energy in studio right here between Donnie Rightside and Joe Lisi. Don't you love it, Joe?
I love it.
It just feels like we get you ready for kickoff better than anybody else, doesn't it?
We do.
Millions
we do.
of views.
And I love
Millions.
the games today at Troy. Millions of views.
Yes.
Millions. Everybody's watching.
Everybody's watching.
Will they be watching this game tonight is the question.
They will. And by the way, I will, because it's my Miami Hurricanes.
That's all you care about.
Do we have any graphics we could post? Look at that. Look at that. And the spray paint in the background. I feel like I'm in a Vanilla Ice video right there, Joe.
Is this a one-man show? I have no graphics for the show?
Look at the sport coat.
Where's the graphics guy?
Look at the handkerchief.
There we go.
Look at that.
How about
look at the
that?
hair. I wish I see. It's a little hard for me to see, but that hair looks like you got Elvis hair, which I really appreciate, which is fantastic. Look at that.
Who's doing it better? Which resume is better?
It's always mine.
LSU. Come on.
Come on. LSU doesn't really have a football tradition, though, do they?
Clemson week one.
LSU doesn't have much tradition, do they?
You're kidding me. Come on. Come on. A team in Miami that has two double-digit winning seasons since 2003.
They make 30 for 30s for Miami. They make what, like 15 for 15s for LSU?
Right.
Can't even remember. Can't even remember the last good LSU team I watched on TV. But we will talk.
Really?
Florida
2019.
and Miami tonight. Hard Rock Stadium, Joe. Electric atmosphere. Two teams that hate each other. We'll see if this game plays out. Touchdown favorite for the Miami Hurricanes, which, again, is correct. I don't think anybody's going to dispute that at this point. A total listed at 51.5. But my angle in this game is not towards my Miami Hurricanes, Joe.
No?
Like, I love bounce-back spots here. If this game, if DJ Lagway has a bad game, this could be 41-14.
Oh,
He
absolutely.
can't have a bad game. So I'm looking at his passing props to the over because I think they lose, and I think he throws it. But I'm not going to be surprised here. And, again, last week I was like, you know what? 15.5 to 17.5 was that point spread between USF. Like, why is that going higher when everybody else likes USF? It was a boat race in this one. But I look at this game and I say to myself, well, if Miami boat raced last week and Florida can't get out of their own way, like Miami should win by double digits. And maybe some people say, Joe, not so fast.
Yeah, I'll just say this. I'm taking the points with the Gators. Even though Miami's won 8 of the last 10, they beat them up bad in Gainesville week 1. They laid 1.5. Cam Ward had a fantastic day, and this actually was where DJ Lagway got his first game experience, played well in mop-up duty. But you look at last week, he completes 59% of his passes, 1 touchdown, 5 interceptions. The pick 6 allowed LSU to win and cover that game 20-10. So when I look at this game and we say, okay, They have problems scoring points. Yeah. What do we need to do? And again, they have to get Miami into a lower scoring game. The question is, Donnie, and I've said this to you, if Miami can run, they're going to dominate this game. Yep. Nobody's been able to run really on the front seven of Florida. They're giving up 82 rushing yards per game. They're only giving up 177 in the back end. Byron Brown didn't have a fantastic day against Florida. Garrett Nussmeier didn't either. And again, do we expect Carson Beck to chuck it for 350? It's possible, but to me, it's going to be Florida with a lower scoring game unless DJ Lagway turns the football over 5 times like he did last week, then Miami's going to rout him. But I'll take the points. I think Lagway bounces back. I don't know if I would go over his passing total. I think they run it more, but we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, he was the hot shot on the scene here, supposed to come into this, and again, a legitimate chance maybe to be a Heisman Trophy contender. Just hasn't worked out that way here for the Florida Gators quarterback. But if we are looking at the passing props, Joe, Carson Beck 268.5, DJ Lagway 223.5. The touchdown props different in the juice markets here. Carson Beck to throw 2 touchdowns, that's a minus 158 price. DJ Lagway to throw 2, that's a plus 152 price. I told you, I like Lagway, that low 220s price range. He threw, 50 times last week? Yeah. I don't expect 50 passes, but I do expect some sort of, hey, you know what? If I'm going to throw 40 times, I better be getting over 200 yards.
Yeah, I would. I mean, if we're looking both quarterbacks, which one could get through their total, you would probably say Lagway, right? Just because their backs are against the wall. And then people are going to say, well, Carson Beck's playing lights out. Yeah, he is. And they're averaging 306 passing yards per game. But if you're Florida, you're taking away the passing attack as well. They haven't really allowed a quarterback to expose them over the top. They're only giving up 177 through the air. So again, you'd think Florida's going to limit big plays. They're going to force Beck to methodically work down the field, and this could look like his Week 1 matchup against Notre Dame. 210, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He plays well, but he's well under the 268.5. So I would go under Carson Beck. I would say I would take a shot Lagway 2+ touchdowns, Donnie. Yeah. How about on the ground, though?
Oh, what do you got?
I'm just saying it's got to be a huge
Success
number.
on the ground?
Yeah.
How about a touchdown? How about he running in for a touchdown today?
Yeah, I like that. But I think if he gets 2, it's not for Lagway. It's not going to be through the air. It's going to be on the ground, them utilizing his legs.
I'll tell you, I'm looking right now at the FanDuel Sportsbook, looking at the player rushing props. I only have 2 players listed, Joe, so you can't even get a Lagway prop there. Mark Fletcher Jr., 72.5, and you take a look at Jaden Ball, 59.5. If Miami's leading, Fletcher's going to get those 72.5 yards. So let me ask you this. Again, a conduit to sort of covering a spread usually has a correlation. The reason I bring that up, Joe, is Mark Fletcher, if he's over 72.5 yards, Miami's probably rolling on offense, no?
Absolutely. What do you have, a buck 20 last week and 2 touchdowns in the route? I mean, they were able to run the football effectively, and they beat up USF in the trenches. That's the one. I just thought it was a bad matchup for USF. Even though I took the points with the Bulls, Miami caught them at just the right time. I mean, emotionally, physically, they could have been a little burnt out. But again, in this matchup, the rushing attack will dictate whether Miami covers this line. You know, if Miami rushes for well over 150 yards in this game and over 4 yards per carry, just wrap it up. They're going to dominate this game. And they had great success on the ground last year with Damian Martinez, and even Cam Ward beat them with his legs.
Now, is that looking for like Lagway props? Or I think he throws for a decent amount of yards. Let's just say 225. Somebody's got to catch it on Florida's side, Joe. You take a look at, Marion, Eugene Wilson III, Hansen, Ball. Any guys, and even Vernell Brown, even Sturdivant, anybody you have an eye on that can be a game breaker for Florida at the wide receiver position?
Eugene Wilson, for me, anytime touchdown. He's a home run hitter in big spots. He's had an ability to step up. Again, I would go tertiary guys underneath short routes. I know we heard Coach say that, Napier's got to just, throw caution to the wind. But when you're on the road, you want to have a methodical attack, especially, Donnie, when you have a better quarterback, more consistent quarterback in Carson Beck. You don't want to get into a shootout.
You know what I'm fun betting this one, too? You take a look at some of these team special props. A receiving touchdown, Joe, in each quarter of this game. Not for teams, just anybody. Each quarter is a plus 650 price today in that game.
Well, that's not bad.
That's not bad.
A receiving
touchdown every quarter. Now, the rushing prop in every quarter, Joe, is a 6-to-1 price.
I like the rushing better. I do. I would take the rushing one.
There you go. What shocks you today? What shocks you in this one? Come on.
Again, if Florida wins, but wins dominating. I mean, if we have a typical Mario Cristobal, Georgia Tech,
a great coach game.
Syracuse,
which means a great coach game.
Syracuse, where they get blown out.
Nah, Joe's just being a hater on Miami. Everybody wants to be a Miami Hurricane. It's just the new thing to do, the new fashion thing to do. More prop bets, more big games on the way next.
They have Boise State, they have Arkansas, they have USC. There's no shot in Purdue. Those are the only big games that they have the rest of the way. They're not getting back into the college football playoff. They're not, Donnie. I don't care if they've won 10 straight.
Remember when they lost to NIU? No way, no care. What happens the rest of the season? They can't get in. Who was in the college football championship last year?
But they had marquee wins at some point.
I don't care. They lost to NIU.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
I needed a mental break when the season was over. Because it's a lot. It's a lot. You get tired of training. But, man, I never get tired of playing golf. I love it. I mean, every course is different. Every day is different. And some days you're like, oh, I got this. I got it. Then you go out there and shoot a 95 the next day. I'm like, damn.
The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
NFL season with about 750,000 downloads. Really interesting when you look at the third and the fourth spot. You have Bet365 and Fanatics, which were, again, that first week, they were the only sports books that grew. The good news for the other sports books in terms of downloads this week is even when you take out Fanatics and Bet365, app downloads still grew about 20% across the board overall.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
They had clearly in hand at the end, especially in the second half, and yet somehow they managed a shank of a 60-yard field goal, and a flag comes in with no time left, Donnie, for a penalty. Do you want to know how many times that penalty of leverage was called all last season? Want to take a guess?
How many?
4.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
The party is just beginning, people. You watch the SportsGrid Network because why? They need information. They need laughs. They need wins. They need entertainment. They want to make sure we get them through the kickoff, which is roughly a half hour. Joe, Foots are going to be smashing footballs in a half hour.
I can't wait. 12 o'clock action is good. A game that we'll just talk about. Coming up, obviously, is at 3:30, but that 12 o'clock slate is going to – Memphis and Arkansas are going to look fantastic.
We don't wait anymore in college football. We don't wait till 3:30 SEC. We don't wait till 7 o'clock at night. You get big-time action early today. That's why we're here, 10 to 12, each and every week, SportsGrid Network, SportsGrid, College Football Today. Doesn't it have a good brain to it, man?
It's great.
Yeah.
We got to put a poster up.
When you add the SportsGrid to the front of it, it really illuminates the project. You know what I mean?
And then two good-looking guys like us, unbelievable.
And we're perfect for AI, too, by the way. You want to put us in AI, anything, sponsor it, away you go. We got tons of effort here. Auburn, Oklahoma, Joe, 6.5-point spread, 7-point spreads out there in the landscape. How did that happen? It opened up at 3.5 as a favorite towards Oklahoma. Everybody loves OU, a total, too, Joe. 48.5 down to 46.5 at most outlets here. I look at the 46.5 and go, blind betting it? We ain't going under there. Come on now.
This is one of my better bets.
No way.
Yeah, this is one of my better bets for the day. I mean, sidewise, I lean to Oklahoma. By no means do I love it, especially now when we're seeing key numbers of 7. I think you're seeing the line movement. All-time Oklahoma 3-0 against Auburn. They won this game last year. And again, Jackson Arnold struggled in big spots. And we've seen Auburn play down to the level of competition and just never live up to expectations over the past few seasons under Hugh Freeze. Mateer is the more experienced guy. But again, when you watch this game last year, it was priced 44.5 on the Plains. They got there with a pick 6. Michael Hawkins wasn't an experienced quarterback. John Mateer is. I think they pushed tempo. I'm not sold on Auburn and Jackson Arnold to match them score for score. I think they can score, but I just don't think they can play catch-up. That's why I like Oklahoma, but I love the total, Donnie. I think Mateer potentially could be in the area 275, 300. Wouldn't shock me if he has 3 tutties either through the air today.
Help me out with Jackson Arnold, Joe. 174.5 as a passing prop, 5-star guy returning back home. His touchdown prop, Joe, he doesn't even get a 1.5. He gets a half, but it is juiced at a minus 225 price. What, are they just going to run the football here? He can't win that
Donnie,
game that way.
The problem is, and this is the matchup, this is why I say I'm going contrarian, because when you look at Jackson Arnold's number, 174, right? 173. They're averaging 173 through the previous 3 weeks of the season, right? They struggled with South Alabama, gave up some points to that offense, which is not anywhere near Oklahoma. And Jackson Arnold has more rushing yards than he has passing yards for the most part. He's only completing right around 60% of his passes. He's only got 501 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. But the one big game that he has under his belt, he rushed for $138 against Baylor, only had 108 yards through the air.
Can't do it.
They're going to need a better effort. Cam Coleman, Singleton, I told you, they've only combined for 23 receptions and 3 touchdowns, right around 298 in the receiving yards. If you're back in Auburn, you need a better effort. Otherwise, it's going to look like Bryce Underwood and Michigan. And I think that's why we're seeing the total from 48.5 down to 46.5. I'm not buying it. I think Oklahoma could get into the 30s, 40s in this game. I think Auburn, maybe we could get 20, 24. I don't think Auburn rolls and wins outright 35-30. That would shock me.
I'll tell you what rolls today.
But I think the total.
John Mateer rolling into the end zone for a touchdown, minus 140 price. The guy, he's in the end zone today, Joe. Book your day, start your day with a touchdown for Mateer.
On the ground?
On the ground. He runs one in.
All right.
How about you ready for this parlay I got for you, Joe? Mateer touchdown, Arnold touchdown, plus 322.
That's not
Both
bad.
Quarterbacks rumbling into the end zone.
You can get that. It wouldn't shock me. Again, I mean, you saw Jackson Arnold have multiple touchdowns on the ground this year. Had one last week, had one against Baylor. He's done a better job in the RPO game than he has in the passing attack. But again, we're talking about a secondary in Oklahoma. 46% completion percentage against opposing quarterbacks and haven't allowed a passing touchdown. That is the matchup, and I think why you're seeing sevens in the market
today.
How
about this matchup, too? We always talk about the quarterbacks. Who's going to throw more touchdowns? Who's going to pass for more yards? Joe, who's going to run for more yards? Mateer, 52.5. Arnold, 37.5.
You would say, again, this is tricky. Because sacks matter, right?
Yep.
I don't know if Mateer gets to 52 solely because I think he could attack Auburn over the top. Here's the matchup. Sawyer Robertson and Baylor put up over 400 yards of passing offense against Auburn.
Yeah.
Mateer could do that today. So is he going to run for 52? Most likely not. I would say Mateer through the air. Arnold has to get through 37.5 on the ground to have some sort of offensive balance. Having Jackson Arnold just sit there and throw, be a prototypical drop-back passer, he's going to get crushed.
Yeah, take a look at this game again. Lines are on the move. A lot of people liking Oklahoma, at least backing them in the betting market here. 60% of the tickets in that line moving closer to a touchdown as we get closer to game time at 3:30. Also taking a look at that total, 48.5 now down to 46.5. I do think we get points in this game. And that doesn't mean we need 60, Joe. Just need around 50 points, and that's going to cash in a ticket. Quarterbacks rumbling in for touchdowns is what we love. You know what else we love? Lisi loves it. I love it. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish getting to the playoff, baby.
They have Boise State, they have Arkansas, they have USC. There's no shot in Purdue. Those are the only big games that they have the rest of the way. They're not getting back into the college football playoff. They're not, Donnie. I don't care if they've won 10 straight.
Remember when they lost to NIU? No way, no care. What happens the rest of the season? They can't get in. Who was in the college football championship last year?
But they had marquee wins at some point.
I don't care. They lost to NIU.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
I needed a mental break when the season was over. Because it's a lot. It's a lot. You get tired of training. But, man, I never get tired of playing golf. I love it. I mean, every course is different. Every day is different. And some days you're like, oh, I got this. I got it. Then you go out there and shoot a 95 the next day. I'm like, damn.
The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
NFL season with about 750,000 downloads. Really interesting when you look at the third and the fourth spot. You have Bet365 and Fanatics, which were, again, that first week, they were the only sports books that grew. The good news for the other sports books in terms of downloads this week is even when you take out Fanatics and Bet365, app downloads still grew about 20% across the board overall.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
They had clearly in hand at the end, especially in the second half, and yet somehow They managed a shank of a 60-yard field goal, and a flag comes in with no time left, Donnie, for a penalty. Do you want to know how many times that penalty of leverage was called all last season? Want to take a guess?
How many?
4.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Hot Topics. You love Hot Topics. SportsGrid College Football Today. The king of Hot Topics here. Donnie Rightside and Joe Lisi. Joe never has a hot topic that hits. I always have hot topics that always right down, paint the black, 95 miles an hour.
Is that, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a segment every week. Look, see the backgrounds right here? See the backgrounds right here, guys? Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Growing up, I hated the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I also hated Penn State as well. That's another story. But as a Miami Hurricanes fan, we didn't like Notre Dame. But here I am, Joe, a man of the people, and they always say I am the most unbiased person on this network when it comes to picking winners and losers. I never go betting on my favorite teams. I don't do that.
I heard that before.
Yeah, I don't know where you heard it from. I thought I may have heard it somewhere around. Maybe somebody in the seat used to say it. I don't know. Who knows at this point? But when I look at the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, Joe, I say to myself, don't step back. Embrace. You went 0-2. Two of the toughest teams, Joe, you're ever going to play. They had the first 2 weeks of the season. You can't fault them for going 0-2.
Yes, you can.
Who can beat Miami? Nobody.
Come on.
Who can beat A&M? No, Joe, nobody can beat A&M.
Donnie.
So now we say to ourselves, right? Let me set the table. Hold on. Let me set the table here. Let me set the table. This was a team with expectations to go to the college football playoff. But they said, Joe, we're going to put the hardest games in the world in front of you for the first 2 weeks. Nobody expected Notre Dame to beat Miami or even compete with them week number 1. A&M came to, that's an SEC team, Joe. Nobody beats SEC teams. You can't fault Notre Dame for losing those first 2 games. Now, Purdue's on the docket. The winning starts now. You want to go home and watch a little Rudy right now? You want to go home and listen to Newt Rockne giving one of those speeches before the game? That's what we're talking about. Notre Dame's charge to the college football playoff starts right now. Now.
Okay.
Right now.
All right. So I disagree completely.
Come with some facts.
I don't even like Rudy. How about that? All right. Terrible movie. How about that?
Now, what didn't you not like about it, though?
I didn't like
45. A 5'8" guy getting
Sean
against Georgia Tech.
Sean Astin. I mean, the whole bit. Give me a different college movie. I'll upset all the Notre Dame fans. How about that? Here is the problem with Notre Dame.
Yeah.
They made it to the national championship last year based on what? It was predicated on defensive physicality.
Yeah.
This defense has been Swiss cheese against Marcel Reed and Carson Beck. And you're
going
to tell me because they lost by 4 points to both of those teams, all of a sudden now they get a free ride, not even being a conference champion, not having a marquee top 10 win over anybody. We're going to put them in the college football playoff for beating Navy and Boise and Arkansas and Purdue and a gutless USC team. That's if they beat USC this year. Come on. Can we stop?
But I'm starting to turn the tide. Like, you remember I rant on this very program, Joe, that said, hey, Notre Dame has the easiest schedule we've ever saw.
You said that.
I'm looking at it now going, Purdue? That's a blue blood right now. Come on, it's a blue blood right now.
You're talking up all these teams.
I mean, no, USC is ranked now. They scheduled you. They can schedule anybody they want to put USC.
Where's the marquee win for Lincoln Riley in USC? All right, people say it happened to LSU.
I'm telling you,
right, and then they fell off the cliff.
End the season, you got Andrew Luck running a program with Frank Reich as the head coach. You beat Stanford to end that season to clinch that 10th win, the hottest team in the country. You can't keep them out, Joe.
So now Stanford, because they beat Boston College last week,
they're ranked.
Okay.
Notre Dame's in the top 25 today. They're going to have 10 straight victories. There's no way they stay out. Now, are you telling me that they're going to get tripped up by NC State?
NC State's
Devin
undefeated.
Leary still there? I don't even know.
NC State, Dave Torrance there. Dave Torrance there. He's there. He's one of the longest tenured head coaches in the conference at 13 years behind Dabo Swinney. But let me just say this. They have a tough game against Duke, so I think Duke actually catches them, even though they're 0-3 against the number. Notre Dame has no chance to make the college. They don't have a quality win.
Answer me this, though. Let's be honest. They lose the 2 ranked games to start the season. You should have at least one of those wins. They didn't get them. But if they finish 10-2, 10 straight victories, they're top. Joe, they're in the top 25 right now. Where do they wind up? If they have 10 straight wins, they have to be inside the top 10 at that point.
No, they won't, Donnie.
Why wouldn't they?
Because here's the thing.
If you're ranked 24th in the country in 10 straight games, you don't move up into the top 10?
No, who are they beating, though?
It doesn't matter. They won 10 straight. No. They don't have to beat anybody.
Nah, come on.
Beat Don Bosco in that range. Who cares? Wins.
All right. We'll see. Don Bosco's undefeated, but I don't know if they won last night, but they were undefeated. But
here, answer me this, though, right? Purdue, they're going to be heavily favored. But Arkansas is on the road in the SEC. They're going to fight from there.
That's a difficult game. If Arkansas wins today, and Memphis is undefeated, if Arkansas rolls, they're going to be a 3-1 team. Yeah, okay. I don't know if Arkansas is going to be ranked depending upon the body of work and the margin of victory or defeat today against Memphis. But again, Boise State's not going to be undefeated. This isn't the same Boise State team that went into USF as a 5.5-point favorite and everybody thought they were the Group of 5 team. That could be Memphis if they knock off Arkansas. So again, everything changes. Where's USC going to be? Where is Purdue going to be? Where is Navy going to be? Right now, Navy's undefeated.
I think if they all don't even have a win, Joe, and Miami gets 10 straight victories, or Notre Dame gets 10 straight victories, it'll be in. Look, understand this too. They came into the season 10.5 win total. That's now down to 8.5. I'm saying they're going to run the table. That's 10. Why don't I just bet the team total over 8.5 now at this point?
Why don't
they can even get a trip up. I think it's a great bet here. Look at the college to make the college football playoff, Joe. Minus 164 to start the season. Plus 235 now to make the college football playoff.
So
to
let
win
me
the
ask you
Natty,
this.
15 only went to 30-1.
All right, so
let me 30-1.
Let me ask you this hypothetical.
All right.
Last year, right? They had a week 1 win over Texas A&M in College Station. That win mattered.
Yeah.
That was a quality win. They knocked off Louisville. That was trending. Right? They covered that line. They had some wins under their belt.
Still lost to NIU, though.
Yeah, but again, last year they had quality wins. Put together their resume last year as opposed to this year.
But what's worse? Answer me this question, Joe. What's worse? A loss to NIU at home or losing to top 10 Miami, top 20 Texas A&M?
It's different because, again, they did it with defense last year. Their defense was one of the best in all of college football. They had last year in the regular season 5 wins on a neutral field site. They were 8-1 as a road team last year. They beat Penn State and Georgia in the college football playoff. They beat Georgia Tech, Army, and Navy on neutral fields. They had a road win against Texas A&M. The body of work was much better last year than it's going to be this year. What is going to be the outlier to say that's a quality?
10 straight.
Come
10,
on.
Here we go, Joe. We are going to be sitting here, and then what's our last game? No, Saturday, November 29th, which I'm going to assume that's Thanksgiving weekend. You are going to come in on this show the very next week when we're talking about college football players. Like, can't wait to see Notre Dame play. Hot team right now. C.J. Carr.
Let me ask you this.
Go.
If it's against Notre Dame that has won 10 straight games or a 9-3 volunteer team that, say, has a quality win over – it won't be Georgia, but over Alabama.
Losses matter.
A win over Alabama, another win over, an SEC opponent. You wouldn't take Tennessee in that over? No way.
The
You're
television
crazy.
networks ain't taking Tennessee over Notre Dame. They look for every way possible to put Notre Dame in that bad boy. No way. Again, if they
what if it comes down to a 10-2 Notre Dame team going up against a 9-3 Texas A&M team that Texas A&M beat them?
3 losses. You're out. You're out. See ya.
Come on.
See ya.
No way.
Yeah, and again, we're feeding right into this, too, where the next evolution is just expand the college football playoff.
No, come on, Donnie,
we'll put Tennessee at 9-3 in. We'll put A&M at 9-3 in.
Let's put everybody
you know what,
in. If it was up to you, regular season is non-existent.
No, if it was up to me, we'd start in September and have a 1-game elimination playoffs, Joe, all the way through to December. Like, everybody would be in the playoff day one.
The NBA?
Like, Alabama gets beat in September. They don't even play again, Joe. They don't play another football game the rest of the year. I'm telling you, it's not one of those angles where I'm saying, like, Donnie's just playing the villain. Like, I can't stand Notre Dame. But when I see a pathway that, Joe, every single Saturday, we're going to be on this desk. Because when they beat Purdue next weekend here, like, here we go. 1-2 Notre Dame, hottest team in the nation, taking on Arkansas.
I'm looking at NC State. I'm looking at Boston College. I'm looking at Stanford. I'm looking at Syracuse. And you're going to put them in the college football playoff. You're
we
ridiculous.
Want to see Notre Dame in the college football playoff. We want to make money on Notre Dame in the college football playoff.
Pittsburgh.
They're going to be in the college football playoff, Joe.
The 2 hardest games on their schedule, they lost, and you want to reward this team.
You can't expect a young quarterback, Joe, to go on the road and beat the Miami Hurricanes. You can't expect a young quarterback.
What happens when Miami loses to
SEC.
Florida today? Then what? You won't be saying the same tune.
Now look at that. Another team. That Notre Dame should jump Miami, even though they lost to Miami. How do you like that? We're playing all the angles here, baby. Notre Dame in the college football playoff. Bookmark this. September the 20th.
Not happening.
SportsGrid College Football Today. Your boy Donnie Rightside convinced Joe Lisi that they're making it into the college football playoff. More hot topics on the way next. Don't you go anywhere, people. Are we just getting started?
No, show's almost over. They have Boise State, they have Arkansas, they have USC. There's no shot in Purdue. Those are the only big games that they have the rest of the way. They're not getting back into the college football playoff. They're not, Donnie. I don't care if they've won 10 straight.
Remember when they lost to NIU? No way, no care. What happens the rest of the season? They can't get in. Who was in the college football championship last year?
But they had marquee wins at some point.
I don't care. They lost to NIU.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
I needed a mental break when the season was over. Because it's a lot. It's a lot. You get tired of training. But, man, I never get tired of playing golf. I love it. I mean, every course is different. Every day is different. And some days you're like, oh, I got this. I got it. Then you go out there and shoot a 95 the next day. Like, damn.
The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
NFL season with about 750,000 downloads. Really interesting when you look at the third and the fourth spot. You have Bet365 and Fanatics, which were, again, that first week, they were the only sports books that grew. The good news for the other sports books in terms of downloads this week is even when you take out Fanatics and Bet365, app downloads still grew about 20% across the board overall.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
They had clearly in hand at the end, especially in the second half, and yet somehow they managed a shank of a 60-yard field goal, and a flag comes in with no time left, Donnie, for a penalty. Do you want to know how many times that penalty of leverage was called all last season? Want to take a guess?
How many?
4.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
In 15 minutes, you have live college football on your TV. And by the way, you'll be sticking with the SportsGrid Network to watch our in-game lives and specials all throughout the day. The second screen experience, the best in the world, right here on the SportsGrid Network. But it's Donnie Rightside, Joe Lisi. What do you say in this segment, Joe? Quick whip around of the top 20 games. What do you say? Can we do it? Can we tackle it?
Yeah, top 20?
Top 25.
Yeah.
Top 40. Because that's how many people should be in the college football playoff here at this point. Let's get started. 12 o'clock, Joe. Texas Tech, Utah for the people again. Morton's out there. He says, you know what? Pulling that upset in the must. What do you say about that?
I like Baron Morton. I like him for 300+. He might throw for 3 touchdowns. Okay. I like Texas Tech to pull this game out. I don't believe in Utah having the speed, and they typically struggle with speed teams like Oregon that could spread them and challenge them over the top. Give me Texas Tech, revamped defense, playing much better this year, especially in run support. I like Texas Tech on the road today.
Tennessee, devastating loss. Like, you got to win games on Rocky Top when you have the Georgia Bulldogs beat down. They're favored by 39.5 this week against UAB, Joe. Coverable, anger, or just, man, you know what, little malaise?
No, they will beat this team into oblivion. Trent Dilfer's the coach of UAB, too. It's amazing that he got that job back this year after coaching them down. But I will say, Joey Aguilar could be the most unheralded quarterback. And when we talk about Heisman, he really elevated his play. I think they have a much better quarterback in Aguilar this year than they did last year with Nico. Their offense is much more explosive. They should be able to tack 50 on. They might get that in the first half of this matchup. I think they come out angry. They had Georgia dead to rights. Couldn't get it done, but I like the Volunteers to roll, and you might get through that total.
Whatever happened to the Civil War, Joe? Oregon State, Oregon. Used to be a good game. Now we're looking at a 33.5-point favorite for Oregon and a 56.5. Like, Oregon got booted out of their own conference. It basically is, like, irrelevant now.
Yeah, Malik Murphy goes over there, plays in the first 2 games, did not play well, inconsistent offense. And it's a shame. I just think the team as a whole just caved in when, the Pac-12 went gone and they left Wash State and Oregon State, out to dry. They had a very good season last year. considering, but defensively, they're giving up a ton of yards. This is going to be a bad matchup. It's a rivalry game. If you're ever going to back Oregon State, it would be in this spot. I'm not betting this game, but we're talking, Donnie, I mean, we're talking 35.5 points in a rivalry game.
Civil War.
I would take the points, but reluctantly.
All right, let's whip through these. Kansas State, Florida State, Joe. 44.5 Kent State. I mean, the problem is, I'm going to ask you this question. Florida State, I think, covers. My question to you is, does Florida State actually give up points to Kent State?
No. Kent State's absolutely terrible. I mean, really, almost lost to an FCS opponent in week number 1. Their struggle went right down to the wire. Physicality-wise, Florida State should own them. The fact that the game's at home is another factor. The heat could be a factor for Kent State. I think Florida State typical, 70 points, and they hold Kent State.
66-0.
Something like that.
66-0. How about Tulane, Ole Miss? 2 3-0 teams, Joe. Ranked top 20 team at Ole Miss. Can Tulane hang around as 11.5?
Absolutely. I like this game now from the spread perspective and series-wise. Ole Miss has won 10 straight. They've won the last 4 by an average margin of victory of 27.5 points per game. Last time they played was 2 years ago. We were at the Ocean that weekend doing Pro Football Today. That was a 10.5-point number. It was a back-and-forth affair. Ole Miss kicks a field goal. They get a pick 6. They blew it open and won 37-20. Jake Retzloff is the key here. They're not built to go into a shootout with Ole Miss. Lower scoring game, but I think Ole Miss, Tulane could potentially strike the upset. I am not sold on Ole Miss's defense. They're giving up a $194 on the ground. They had one of the best rush defenses in all of college football last year, giving up 80 rushing yards per game. Much different. Tulane's in this game from start to finish.
Get on the lane train, baby. How about Georgia State, Vanderbilt, Joe? Vanderbilt minus 28.5 here. Diego Pavia, the boys 3-0, top 20.
Yeah, big win on the road. I was wrong about that with South Carolina. I would only look to lay it here, but I don't like this game in any capacity. There's always the potential for a letdown spot, but Vanderbilt's playing very well.
Big letdown spot, chance for an upset here. How about Southeast Louisiana pulling off the upset over LSU as 48.5-point underdogs and a 57.5-point number. LSU
could be a big one. Now,
smash job? Nussmeier banged up?
Garrett Nussmeier. They talked about Nussmeier keeping him out.
Okay.
Because he's got a torso injury, supposedly. That's why the offense has been inconsistent. They should smash this team. But let's not forget, on deck, Ole Miss. They're already 1.5-point road favorites. You're going to rest the starters. I'd be very hesitant if any props do come up here, backing any starter for LSU. It is Parents' Weekend down there, so roll Tigers.
Well, you're here. Okay.
Yes,
I'm
working.
He's working.
I'm working.
He's working hard.
I was down in Baton Rouge a couple of weeks ago. 2 times.
Yeah, boots on the ground. How about this one, Joe? We talked about this a little bit early, but doubling down. Texas taking on Sam Houston. Arch got booed last week.
Yeah.
Not used to that.
No.
If you're Sark,
I told
all hands on deck. We get inside the 10. We are not running the football. No. You are throwing this in the end zone.
You're probably right. One of my best bets. I love the over 51.5. Sam Houston, one of the worst third down offenses. To Donnie's point, Arch needs to start fast. Conference play starts next week. Look for them to break out. They might get the 51.5 on their own. Love the total. Lean to Texas. Don't love the side, but I love the total over 51.5.
Arch Manning, by the way, 23 carries, 112 yards, and 3 touchdowns on this season. But I always talk, and that's why I love having Coach Bowden on. We're like, hey, Coach, man, you got to get your quarterback going. Yeah, we're not running the football inside the 3.
Absolutely.
You want statistics for the kid so he feels good. Yeah. And by the way, the 2.5, you'd figure in that game, like, it's probably expensive. It's like minus 105. Yeah. Like, it's really cheap to get 3 touchdown passes. We'll see if he does it. Joe, Michigan State and USC. Michigan State, we haven't talked about all that much on the show. 3-0 in the season. USC 3-0 in the season. 11 p.m. kick.
I would take the points.
You're not up for that game tonight.
I'll be up.
You got work tomorrow morning. You ain't up for that game.
I'm up until 2 o'clock.
Rest up.
Now, Jonathan Smith, a much better head coach, I believe, than Lincoln Riley, that coaches down to the competition. He didn't cover the number last week. It's a rematch of all these bowl games. I like Childs. I like the rushing attack of Michigan State. If Purdue could score.
19.5, Joe.
Yeah, I'll take the points.
Taking the points. Total in this game, 54.5. You always get nice weather out there at SC. Looking to improve. Maivia, 6 touchdown passes, 989 passing yards here. SC, by the way, Jordan at running back, 286 and 3 touchdowns on the ground. Should be some fun on the West Coast. But again, Michigan State, And it's a Big Ten game. Most people are like, oh, it's an interconference game, and they don't really play each other. Get used to it here, Michigan State and USC. But that's a nice card for today.
It is.
The next segment, Joe, we're going to hit the big games just like we did all show long. The best bets, the best props are coming up next. Make sure you keep it here. Kickoff 9 minutes away, Joe, so it really hits.
Throw one more out there. Go. San Diego State could be live, up from 12.5 to 14.5. Cal, even though they got the kid at quarterback, 6-13 straight up over the last 3 years on the road. Give me the Aztecs potentially to be live from the money line as well, but give me the 14.5.
Who was their coach? Rocky? What was the name? What was the guy's?
Rocky Long, and
Rocky
then Brady
Long.
Ho.
Love the guy. Love Rocky.
You like
it? Fantastic stuff. Best bets up next. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
They have Boise State, they have Arkansas, they have USC. There's no shot in Purdue. Those are the only big games that they have the rest of the way. They're not getting back into the college football playoff. They're not, Donnie. I don't care if they've won 10 straight.
Remember when they lost to NIU? No way, no care. What happens the rest of the season? They can't get in. Who was in the college football championship last year?
But they had marquee wins at some point.
I don't care. They lost to NIU.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
I needed a mental break when the season was over. Because it's a lot. It's a lot. You get tired of training. But, man, I never get tired of playing golf. I love it. I mean, every course is different. Every day is different. And some days you're like, oh, I got this. I got it. Then you go out there and shoot a 95 the next day. I'm like, damn.
The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
NFL season with about 750,000 downloads. Really interesting when you look at the third and the fourth spot. You have Bet365 and Fanatics, which were, again, that first week, they were the only sports books that grew. The good news for the other sports books in terms of downloads this week is even when you take out Fanatics and Bet365, app downloads still grew about 20% across the board overall.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
They had clearly in hand at the end, especially in the second half, and yet somehow they managed a shank of a 60-yard field goal, and a flag comes in with no time left, Donnie, for a penalty. Do you want to know how many times that penalty of leverage was called all last season? Want to take a guess?
How many?
4.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid College Football Today, 2 hours of fun each and every Saturday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. It's just what we do. It's Donnie Rightside. It's Joe Lisi. We got to get you ready for kickoff. We're about 5 minutes away. Let's hit some of the best games here and the best bets, Joe, starting once again, 12 o'clock right off the break. Texas Tech and Utah, 3.5-point favorite here as the home team. Utah, total, Joe, 58.5. For me, we're rumbling into the end zone. Dampier's getting in for me. That's the way I see it. How do you see a side, a total, and also some prop bets for you?
Yeah, I lean to the under. I like Texas Tech, and I'm taking Baron Morton to throw for 300. Plus at plus money and potentially 3 touchdowns in this matchup. If Tech wins, it'll be through the air, setting the tempo, and then forcing Utah to get into a back-and-forth affair.
I think it's going to be a fun game to watch right off the bat. Big stakes here at this point. Love to see it right off the bat. Don't have to wait till 3:30, 7 o'clock to get these games through. Now, we're going to pick on a game now at 3:30 p.m., 3:53, 3:54 in the rotation, Joe. Auburn and Oklahoma. This is one of those lines that's been on the move this week. 3.5 up to as high as 7, which is now showing on DraftKings, but a low total. 46.5 across the board, Auburn and Oklahoma. If you ask me again, I like quarterbacks to rumble into the end zone, Joe. Mateer gets in for me. How about you?
Yeah, I like Mateer, but I like him through the air. You talk about Sawyer Robertson attacking that Auburn secondary for 400-plus yards. Week number 1, I think Mateer could put up similar numbers, maybe 350, 400. I like that. He's got a very low number today, and I like the total. That's my best bet.
Over 46.5.
I altered it as high as 50.5 plus. I think we can get this game into a track meet. Last year, eked over the total, 44.5. They had 45, but there were missed opportunities. Much better quarterback play for Oklahoma. Dictates the tempo. Mateer breaks out with a huge performance.
There you go, Joe. Have them throw up and down the field, run it in from the 2-yard line. We all cash tickets. We all have fun here. And cash in on a Saturday, which is always the goal here. Michigan and Nebraska, Joe, also a 3:30 game. How about this line? Michigan minus 3.5. We're now down to 1s and 1.5s as a favorite and a road favorite for Michigan. Taking on Nebraska, that total, Joe, 54.5. Now up to, 45.5 to 47.5. All lines on the move going higher.
It is, but I lean to the under in that matchup. Yeah. But I like Michigan. Again, they won 4 straight in the series by an average margin of 29.5 points per game. The fact that Bryce Underwood has one game on the road under his belt, I think they are able to run it. I'm not sold on the front 7 of Nebraska. They got a little exposed against Cincinnati week 1. Could be a similar performance. Cincinnati pushed Nebraska to the limit. I think Michigan's a much better rushing attack than Cincinnati. Wolverines cover this line. Wouldn't shock me if they win it by 7 or more.
Different opinion for me, too, at this point, where you're saying, okay, what happens if Michigan didn't play a really good road game early on and say, ooh, young quarterback there in that tough environment. He already played at Oklahoma. Didn't do that well. Now, they lost that game, granted, but again, Oklahoma, to me, is a much better team than Nebraska is. We'll find out how it turns today. Miami and Florida today. That's going to be a 7:30 kickoff from Hard Rock Stadium tonight. Miami opened up as that 7.5 point favorite. Still sitting around those numbers, Joe. But as you pointed out earlier in the show, we had 9.5 yesterday. Bought back down to 7.5 and a total of 50.5. It's all on DJ Lagway. He plays well. They stay around. He throws 5 interceptions again. They're getting boat raced.
I'm going to take the points with Florida. Again, I think a lower scoring game. You want to run the football, utilize DJ Lagway on the perimeter. Think about last year. Cam Ward, breakout performance, higher scoring game. Miami routed them as a 1.5 point road favorite. I think it's different this year with revenge, even though it's back-to-back road games. Give me the points with the Gators under the total. Lagway needs to rush the football to have a shot to pull it out.
Let me ask you a question on this game, too, because, it's a rivalry game. I just feel like Florida can't get down, though, Joe. I even mean 7-0.
No,
I'm even talking 7-0.
Yeah, we talk about that. It's back-to-back road games. Now, they're staying in state. But, again, from a psychological perspective, you lost to USF. You lost to LSU. You fall behind here, and you don't start fast. Psychologically, they could cave, and that's not what you want to see. That's why it is critical for Lagway to run the football, play well, and clean to have a shot.
Yeah, Lagway over his passing yardage for me in this game. Also understand this. The correlation, not because they're playing in Miami, but like Miami's Mike McDaniel on the road against Buffalo. They scored first in that game and still ended up losing, but I thought they got a little, moral victory because they're still coaching at this point. You can't get smoked in this game. So Florida will pull the plug quickly. Like, okay, it's over. You win, that's one thing. At least you keep it close. Maybe you get another week to coach.
They got Gruden waiting, and I mean, he was a perfect fit, and he knows the administration, and plus he's from Florida. I mean, Tampa Bay, he still lives there. I mean, he can recruit. I always hate that as a head coach, knowing that if they start, he could be gone by the end of September, Donnie.
Certainly can. Illinois and Indiana, Joe. Last game we'll hit here quickly. Roughly 7 points now showing up at BetMGM, Bet365, and out there in Las Vegas, 52.5. Illinois and Indiana. Points expected, Joe? Side? What do you think?
I would take the over 52.5, and we talk about Indiana's dominance. They've won 4 of the last 5. Again, I like Fernando Mendoza over Luke Altmaier, but again, we could see points. I think that's my best bet in that match.
There you go. That's how we roll in this show, Joe, right? Not the greatest card, but the entertainment is high, the energy is high. 2 hours here, got the information you needed to know right from your home, and we're ready, Joe, for about 30 seconds from kickoff.
Yeah, 2 other. I like Wisconsin. I like Memphis early at 12 o'clock, so keep it under Arkansas, Memphis, under the 60.5.
This is how we do it. Montel Jordan used to say that back in the 1990s, kids, at this point. That's how we do it on the Sports Grid Network. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next Saturday, same time, same place.
Credit to the Giants, who were so good in April and then since then just kind of fell apart. Now they're back in it again. I think the Mets will get in, but it is fascinating that they'll play the Marlins here the last 3 games of the season. And I know without a doubt that the Marlins are going to line up Sandy Alcantara, Yuri Perez, and top guys to try and beat the Mets.
Game time decisions. Only on Sports Grid.
It is the biggest story in sports. It is the ability to predict outcomes in sports without calling it sports betting. But I guess Massachusetts doesn't like it very much, and they're saying basically you can't operate in our market without having a license like FanDuel and DraftKings. And they're coming at this company, Robinhood, who you may be familiar with. Robinhood right now says, hey, we should be able to operate just like these other companies.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
He says, you can't get in a position, Tiger, Rory, Justin Thomas, those guys are this tall. You're never gonna be as flexible as them. You got a lot more leverage and like you got a lot of more moving parts than those dudes.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
I like the shadows coming in, Neyland Stadium. Show me
High
those
school,
3:30.
Joe,
Back
we
in the
played
day,
all our games on Saturdays. Maybe one or two games on a Friday night away. I always loved that. Same thing in college. Hated Friday night football games in college.
I don't like. I understand why they do it prime time, and we have to play. But going back to when we grew up, Keith Jackson.
Yeah.
Action.
Throw another pancake on that plate. Yeah,
That's
let's go,
it.
Keith Jackson. That's my guy here.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.